Todd Monken, offensive coordinator for previously Georgia Bulldogs, is now taking the same position with the Baltimore Ravens. A few moments passed, maybe like a 5 Mississippi count, until you said, you know what, Mike Bobo, offensive assistant, you're now going to be, once again, the offensive coordinator for the Georgia Bulldogs. So looking forward to the future for this team, what does this mean? What does this mean for Georgia? We got to unpack this first, I think, from a Todd Monken perspective. We talked about it a little bit on an individual video, but for y'all that are live right now and in the podcast, we'll keep it rolling. You can't blame Todd Monken. I don't think anybody in Georgia circles blames Todd Monken for making the decision that is best for him. Like, he wants to go and be an NFL head coach one day, is what I've been told. The path to doing that is being an offensive coordinator in the league. Okay, so for Todd Monken, college football just continues to become a more and more rigorous year-round affair. Recruiting doesn't stop. NIL doesn't stop. Also, you got to re-recruit your own roster. Like, it's a grind, man. And if you want to be an NFL head coach, if that's the last professional box that you have yet to check, more power to you. So we appreciate Todd Monken. We support Todd Monken, and I think the majority of UGA fans would agree with that sentiment. Now, Mike Bobo has been a controversial figure when he was named the OC at Georgia. And some of this is optics. I was listening to Aaron Murray talk about this a little bit. People have issues with different snapshots in their mind. They call it like 3rd and Bobo, like maybe having an issue with a certain play call on 3rd and 6 or 3rd and 5 and feeling like it wasn't the right way to go. I understand that. I'm an emotional person. I am as much fan as I am analyst, as I was player. Like, I get it. I 100% get it. But when we approach a coaching change, I think the best way to do that is to use logic. So we put the pitchforks down, put emotion aside for just a second. Let's look at logic. You don't have to be blindly all in on this, but what's going to make or break Georgia in 2023? What will be the reason why they do or don't win a national title for the 3rd year in a row? My personal opinion on this is quarterback play. You won the last 2 with Stetson Bennett. Stetson Bennett's gone to the league. You're going to have somebody playing quarterback. Now, it's going to either be Carson Beck, Gunnar Stockton, could be Brock Vandagriff, all good options. But what is Mike Bobo most credited for? What is he most known for? Being a QB whisperer. Worked with Matt Stafford. Was the coordinator for Aaron Murray when he pretty much owns all the SEC passing records for a career. Like, if we're putting 2 and 2 together here, Mike Bobo, from a quarterback perspective, might be what you need. Now, again, I am not telling you have to be blindly all in on this, but to say he doesn't have a positive track record or any positive things on his track record is just not true. Look at the numbers here. In 2012, was the OC for Georgia. Averaged 37 points a game. That'll win you some ball games. Okay, 2013, yet again, 37 points a game. Did the Georgia offense average. Now, you lose Aaron Murray, okay? So you say there's going to be a drop-off, right? What's going to happen? No. You average 41 points a game in 2014. So the proof is in the pudding there, y'all. Like, I understand the snapshots bother you. I understand there is certain memories you have associated with Mike Bobo. But when you look at the data, when we use logic purely, there's some things to like there with Mike Bobo. He's coached successful offenses. Even more importantly, in my opinion, he's coached successful quarterbacks. You don't have to be blindly all in, but the logic is there that supports Mike Bobo can coach some ball now. Really quickly, I got more thoughts on this, but if you have not yet subscribed, excuse me, I'm getting too excited. We'd love to have you a part of this party. We'd love to have you a part of this community. Follow me on socials at JD Piquel on Twitter as well as on Instagram. Throw us a thumbs up while you're at it. I appreciate it. Now, the issue you may have, you say, well, hey, look at what he did at South Carolina. Look at what he did at Auburn. Those weren't success stories. Those don't fire me up. Those don't inspire passion or optimism from a fan. I feel you. I hear what you're saying. But again, context. We got to consider some context here. Do you blame a CEO when he takes over a failing business and they experience a loss of profit in year 1? No. The business was already failing. 2021, Auburn already had issues. We saw what they ended up being under Brian Harsin. No offense to Brian Harsin. South Carolina, they were in a bad way. When he took that thing over, it wasn't like they were trending upward. He was trying to flip it around. So we got to consider context. You look at Auburn, you look at South Carolina, you compare it to what they have on offense at Georgia. Dominique Lovett, the best player in college football for my money, Brock Bowers. Like, come on now. Come on now. When he's had guys, when he's had personnel on his team, he's done well. Aaron Murray, Nick Chubb. When you have the Jimmies and Joes, you're in good position to execute the X's and the O's. And I feel confident that Mike Bobo has got the Jimmies and Joes to get it done. I would also say this, the schedule itself for Georgia, let's take a look at that. You're set up for success. Like the first 4 games, you play UT Martin, you play Ball State, you got South Carolina sprinkled in there, then you also got UAB. Who's the toughest game on this schedule for Georgia? What's going to be just the pencil-in loss for Georgia? I don't know that I see one. At Tennessee is going to be the toughest game you play, likely. Florida's a bit of a question mark. It'll be a neutral site, rivalry game. Never want to count that out. That'll be maybe an interesting game. You get Ole Miss at home, but I don't see Bama. Oklahoma, they tried to schedule. They're not on the schedule right now, thanks to the NCAA. You hear what I'm saying. It's not going to just be the gauntlet for Mike Bobo in this offense. Now, if you don't do what you're supposed to do with all that personnel and this schedule, like, okay, we can have a conversation. But I'm telling you, the external variables are set up to favor Mike Bobo and to favor this offense. So what I'm trying to tell you, if you have issues with Mike Bobo, if you don't want to believe in Mike Bobo, that's cool. The competition is not going to be that tough until you play Tennessee, really, or until you play Florida, depending on how you want to look at this. It's not going to be a murderer's row. Now, I would also tell you that Kirby Smart could have gotten somebody else. Like, you get a call from Kirby Smart, you're at least taking it if you're a potential OC. He had options. He could have had options if he wanted options. He chose to keep it internal. He chose to go with somebody he trusts as Mike Bobo. So to some degree, you got to say, all right, do I trust Kirby Smart? Do I trust his judgment? Has he steered us astray the last couple of years when we're hoisting national titles? A lot of people weren't super fired up when he went with Stetson Bennett over JT Daniels either, and it worked out okay. This is the next phase of being a dominant program in college football. We've seen Alabama deal with this for years. When you have success at the level that Georgia's having success at right now, when you are the cream of the crop in college football, people want to take your people and bring them to their program. They want to try and bottle up just a little bit of that Kirby Smart magic and bring it to their program. How you adapt now is what Georgia's going to be. Todd Monken, NFL wanted him. Can't blame the NFL. Can't blame the Baltimore Ravens. The next step now is adapting and evolving and keeping your process, your structure the same as you move forward. So you don't have to be all in on Mike Bobo. That's fine, but let's use some logic. Let's look at what he has done successfully. Let's look at what is required at Georgia going into 2023. Little QB specialist. I think there's a little bit more optimism here that's reasonable than maybe what's being given right now. All right? Schedule set up for success. I think they're going to be okay. I don't think Georgia's going to be in trouble with Mike Bobo calling the plays. Hey y'all, thanks so much for watching. Subscribe to the channel here to make sure you don't miss an episode of The Hard Count. Also be sure to check out other videos on the On3 YouTube channel.